What a day. You look lonely. I can fix that. Not even that hard, just picture.
Hey, I got a Glock in my Rari. I 17.
I know it's real.
I got a Glock in my Rari. 17 shots, no 38.
Yeah, she's fine to wonder when she'll be
I know
mine.
it's
You
real.
walk past her, rewind to see there's one more time. I got this sold up. Fast money, no slow bucks. No one can control us.
So yeah, you set up a Reddit, and it's going well.
It's going well. People on Reddit fucking hate any kind of self-promotion. So
Yeah,
obviously I was like using Reddit to like obviously to promote the podcast, but I also like Reddit as well. So I was just like, I've come full circle. I did hate Reddit. There was like a period of time where I think it's because the first time I ever went on Reddit, I made a sarcastic comment. I made some sort of comment where it was probably self-promotion as well then. And then some guy commented and was like, he was called like, let's say, I can't remember his name, but let's say he was called like Actually Dave. And he said, you cannot post, like you cannot self-promote, essentially, is what he said. And give us like a list of rules. But that was it. Like for me, that was like really abrupt to not say like anything else other than, you can't do this, here's the rules. And I was like, all right, thanks for the advice. Actually autistic, Dave, is what I said back. And then he private messages, he was like, well, you fucked up because I'm a moderator. And then banned us from the site.
Oh.
And I was just like,
Well.
that is someone who literally has, like, I'm diagnosed ADHD and I'm probably autistic because that, like, RADS-R test that you can do online, like, I score, like, super mega autistic on that. So, like, I'm probably fucking autistic and, like, very understanding of that. I still think what he did was autistic as fuck. Like, I still think not going like, oh, hey, I can see you're a brand new account, just so you know you can't fucking do this, and here's the rules so that you don't make that mistake again in future. Have a good day. So well, that would have been a normal thing to say, but to be like, you can't do that, here's the rules, and not fucking not that he's a moderator. And obviously I'm brand new to the site, so like I couldn't tell from like at a glance his icon didn't look particularly moderatory.
Yeah, if that's a thing, yeah.
But yeah, Reddit's going like hilarious because kind of like on Twitter where you retweet, you can post something to your Reddit, but then you can share it to other communities. So that's what I thought I'd do. Is like, well, if I write something funny, because I'd already been writing stuff that was funny and it was doing well, like in certain communities, which I was like basically other popular podcasts of the same kind of ilk and stuff. And I thought, oh well, I'll start writing them on a Blumpkin subreddit. And I was just like, and then I'll reshare them to those communities because I'm getting interaction when I post on those communities. So the first time I did that, I wrote something that was funny. And then someone was like, that's hilarious, but I'm not watching your fucking podcast. Like, I'm not watching your shitty podcast.
Yeah, nobody cares about your shitty podcast. Like, neither do we.
it was like-
this is just catch
and I
up,
was like-
and we're recording it.
I was like, that's so funny though, because it's like, I couldn't be upset because, like, I mean, I wouldn't be upset anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not that way inclined, but I'm just like, I couldn't be upset because it was like so good. It was just like, you guys, bro, like, you guys.
You were like, thanks, Dad.
Like,
I think your response was
like,
the best
you
thing
knew,
about it.
You
like.
knew exactly what I was doing, and what I was doing was being like, look,
Yeah.
I'm funny. If you think I'm funny, you might like me shit podcast.
Well, I like it, but I mean, I'm biased because I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So
but then it was
I'm
just
proud
like,
to say
obviously, that fucking thing I'd sent you where it was the fucking screen grab from your McDonald's app, where I was like going like, is there anything more disheartening than like you ordering like loads of fucking food and then you find out the guy's coming on a bicycle? Like,
Yeah.
I actually really, I don't know why it upsets us when they're on a bicycle. Not just because obviously it reminds us that I'm a piece of shit, which I am obviously, and like that. It's not that, but it's like they always come to the wrong side of the house because that's like where like they come to the front, and I never open the front door. Like almost, like I would say out of all deliveries, like 1 in 10 deliveries will come to the front, and I'll just like speak to them out the window and be like, leave it there, because it's like, it's not a chore, but like my front door doesn't just open. Like a front door, I've got to get a key and stuff like that to open it.
Yeah, because you never ever open it.
And it's, but it's not even.
I mean, that is essentially just like a front door, though, because you said I've got to get a key to open it, like all other front doors.
Oh, no, really? Both me gran and me mum's house just opened. Like it just had like you just I don't know what you'd even call it. Like
Oh
a
well,
Shrek,
I
you
mean, we
twist it.
always lock ours.
Oh,
so,
well, like, that's what I'm saying. So you can it with this door. It's like a conservatory door. You know what I mean? Where you need to put a key in so that
right.
the handle can
Got
change,
you.
and then you could
Right.
you could have it unlocked, and then it would open. But then it would open like a conservatory door, and anyone could just walk in, which obviously I just don't like at all. So
yeah.
So like for me, and because I've got my keys on it, this is just my problem, me being stupid. Like I should just get another key and have one permanently in the front door ready to go. But because I don't, I'm like, oh, so now I've got to go and get the keys from the back door, because the back door is where the cars drive to, like, and where cars drive into the street, you cannot drive to the front of the house. But it just really upsets
Right,
us.
okay.
So like a guy on a bike, I'm just like, so one, you remind us that I'm a fat piece of shit because you're like gonna be fit as a fiddle because you're like riding on a bike all day to make a living, and then of course
Yeah.
you're foreign because you have to be to do that. Let's be honest, because there's no
Yeah.
money to be made in it. Like even when I give them like I always give them at least a 10% tip, and a lot of the time I give them 15% because the 10% tip on like a fucking 10 quid order is like fucking nothing. You know what I mean? So it's just like I know he's got a fucking shit life, but he has the 6-pack I'll never have. So then it's also like,
So now you hate him.
you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. And all he said to us was he shouted up at the window, and I'm just like, oh, can you leave it there? And he's like, you like on app? You like on app? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
yes, I
I
like
get
on
that.
app.
I get that. Go puff. And there's always this one guy who's
Rewind,
like,
go
leave us
puff, what
5
the fuck is
stars.
that?
Go put out. It's not a gay dating app, which I thought it was at
upset
first. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go puff me. It's basically a shopping delivery app where you get your food. Like you can't be asked to walk to the shop because
Yeah.
you know I'm a lazy
I'm
piece
just
of shit.
freestyling.
So I'm like,
Go puff is. I'm gonna go puff is the best fucking tagline ever.
I'm gonna go
you should
puff,
work in the
yeah.
marketing department with that shit.
well, that's it.
You've
so
heard of
yeah,
go
basically,
northeast. Now go puff.
now go puff, go puff.
Is puff
Just
like a
writes
really?
itself.
Is that? I think that's like a UK thing, isn't it?
Puff, yeah, it's PUFF, so it's not poof, it's puff. But either way, it's still gay. So yeah, I sucked off 10
Yeah.
dudes. No, so when you can't be bothered to get your shopping at a shop, you pay like £3 extra for a pint of
right,
milk on
okay.
this app. So I go puff the stuff. Hey, that's good,
is
that, isn't
fucking
it?
good.
That is good. Go puff the
That's
stuff.
the name of the episode.
Sponsored by GoPuff. I love how it's just niche titles every
Yeah.
time. But anyway, so I get the stuff, and there's always this one like Indian guy's like, you give 5 stars. You give 5 stars. Like that, like the finger guns. I'm like, yeah, sure. Never once have I given 5 stars.
That's what I was
Not
thinking.
once.
Like, it's one of those
Like,
things.
stop trying to force us. You've done your job.
Yeah.
And then one time he was like, can you come out because I don't want to get out of the car. You give 5 stars though. Like, what?
It's literally a job. Yeah. It's
Just
It's
no.
that thing because it probably sounds like we'll probably sound like we're being like really entitled, but we're like working class as fuck.
What?
So like we're poor as fuck. So it's like literally I'm pretty close to getting one of those jobs, to be fair. So,
Yeah.
but
same.
like
Amazon Flex.
it's just the money's a bit shit in it. Like I actually have looked at it, but the money's just terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, like the
y-
fucking sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say like I like my long-term goal is I'm quitting YouTube,
Yeah.
keeping Patreon, and doing Amazon Flex just for extra
Yeah, I
money
think
because
it's
I make
perfect.
decent enough on Patreon.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for
Amazon
that.
Flex.
Like that for me personally, because I need a sole income. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like it's not enough. Like,
No, that's it. Yeah. I mean, just as far as I'm concerned, that channel is just dead. I don't care anymore. Like I put a South Park episode out, and it was a special. Usually get about 40,000 views, and they limited it, so I had to wait for ads. 3 days went by, so nobody wanted to watch it
Yeah.
because they'd seen every other reaction. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. Fuck you. I'm not editing that
it is a
shit
fucking
anymore.
chore.
so-
Like, but
Yeah,
it
it
is what it is. I
hate
actually
it.
watched that episode as well, and then like you know me, I don't
Yeah.
watch most of your fucking videos because I actually hate just because obviously you post so many fucking videos, and it's like.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time, especially. I mean, I've got the time now, but prior to that, obviously, normally I'm like,
But it's not expected.
oh, I
you
know
what
that,
I mean?
but
I
I'm
don't
just saying,
expect
but,
any
like,
of me
normally I
mates
don't
to
watch that videos, and that one came up and I watched it, and it was class, and I was just like, and then obviously I'd found out after watching it and enjoying it that you were like, oh yeah, that's the episode that's done shit, and I'm like, I don't understand why that one didn't get watched. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I
It's
haven't watched
because
all your recent
people
stuff,
like
so I
reactors.
understand why that hasn't
Yeah.
been watched, because I didn't even watch it.
I mean, it's the same level of terrible banter throughout. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just my shit personality. But it's people have watched all the other reactors and like, oh, I didn't want to watch another reaction,
Yeah.
and I understand that. So it's YouTube fucking me basically, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing that anymore. So if I put a video out and it gets limited, I'm just like, well, fuck it. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't deal with the stress of it anymore. I don't care.
I don't know like
So,
enough about
yeah.
it. Obviously, like it's your literally like niche expertise. So it's like, or like fucking because you've done it for so long and stuff. But like, how do other people get around it all the time? Do you know what I mean? Or like, are they all doing the same thing where every day they fight it? Because
I don't know.
Sometimes like I've seen,
know.
I don't watch much reaction content to be honest, but I've watched, I've seen stuff where I'm like, obviously on yours because I know you and you've told us. I'm like, oh, I've noticed you've had to like put like a stamp like and kind of make it like what's the word, like part see-through or whatever, and put it in the background
Yep.
so that the image, or sometimes you have to reverse the image. But then I've sseen other channels posting very similar big
don't.
clips and they don't have to do that. And I'm like, why can they get away with it?
No clue. I mean, I don't know how YouTube works,
Yeah.
really. It could be favoritism. They don't like my channel. I don't know. But my videos, they get a set amount of views, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then it stops. But then you see people with smaller like channels get twice my views. They haven't had to hide the thing with like the words or the see-through shit. And other people say, I don't get why you have such a hard time, because everybody else I
Yeah.
watch doesn't, and I don't understand it. And I understand it puts people off, because I don't want to watch shit with words all over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's either
It
do
doesn't
that
even
or
put me
not
off though.
make
It's just,
the
I just
pittance I am.
obviously, I never really fucking, to be honest, I didn't really fucking notice it. Like even when you put like
Yeah.
massive letters on it and shit, and then obviously you make them like fucking, I don't know what you call it, where you bring the fucking luminosity of it down and it's more see-through or whatever. Like it
Yeah.
never, it was like your thing you told us like obviously years ago when we were on one of our other 17 podcasts, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
you have told us this before and I couldn't remember like, but like it's never been like, it doesn't detract from the video, which I suppose is to your fucking, you know, like to your success in that sense, because I'm still just enjoying it for what it is, sort of thing. It's just,
Yeah.
it's weird because obviously you told us about it, and then it's like one of those things like, and once it's brought to your attention, you kind of unsay it, sort of thing. And then I'm just
Yeah.
like, how come others don't have to do that? And then you do.
I don't know.
Like,
I genuinely
racists.
don't know.
Racists.
Yeah, probably YouTube.
It's because you
racist.
didn't give
No,
five
but everyone
stars to
says
that Go Puff guy.
probably because I didn't.
You didn't
give
go Puff.
Go Puff like Gary.
You didn't give Go
5
Puff the
stars.
stuff.
But yeah, I didn't go puff the stuff. So, but yeah, honestly, I don't know. Like, I've had problems since I would say when
From whence?
when
Yes,
I
wow.
was monetized. Before I was monetized, it was fine. You can go back and you see the videos. There's no logos over there.
Yeah.
As soon as I was monetized, like nah, you've got to do this. So I don't know what changed
Yeah.
for me personally. But people would say you get so much out, whereas other people don't. So maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then some people say you only made a 10-minute reaction. It should be 20 minutes long. Like the episode's 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Do you want us to just put the fucking
They
episode
do,
out,
though.
not be in the reaction?
That's like the kind
Yeah.
of curse of. It's that thing though. It's like obviously like whatever you post, it's that thing of like how many people like actually interact in 100 people. Yeah, like you're lucky to get 10 likes in 100 people who watch your video, and then you're even luckier still to get a comment. So like
Yeah.
it's that thing of like the people that comment, and then people are just. I would say like my personal experience, obviously not being as much as yours, but we have done 70,000 failed podcasts. The people
Well,
who
have
are
we?
likely to comment are people who want to either insult you or tell you something that they think you did wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I've had people like, I can't support you as a content creator anymore because you don't reply to my comments. If I looked on my YouTube now, I'd probably have 99 plus in the corner of comments because I've got
Yeah.
1,000 videos on there.
Yeah.
So I can't be expected to respond to every single person, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fucking hate YouTube anyway. So let's just not talk about that anymore because it's just gonna be bollocks, isn't it?
So anyway,
But,
back
I'm
to
quitting
fucking
YouTube.
Go Puff.
Yeah, go puff the stuff.
So the guy who delivered me food literally was like, "Oh, you fucking you like app or whatever," and I was like, one, it annoyed us because I'm just like obviously I'm waiting for food, and the only thing I care about right now is the food. But then I thought, all right, I'll fucking like your app, whatever, like, you know what I mean, like it's tough out there, whatever. So then I looked, and because it was through the McDonald's app, but then he was delivering through another fucking third party delivery service. It was like there was no link anywhere to fucking actually like him. You know what I mean? So like even on the fucking text and stuff, and I thought I just wasted 5 minutes trying to fucking like
when you could have been
no
eating.
app to like, and I already give you a tip.
Yeah.
What more do you want? Do you know
Exactly.
what I mean?
So, long story short, we're pieces of shit, and we're not gonna like your app or what have you. Just deliver the food.
But yeah, it's just the fact that he came on a fucking bicycle, and like I said, he had the most like mega Godzilla of Muslim names on the planet. He was like Osama Muhammad. I used to actually, when I was like 16, I went to college. Like, you know, because obviously I did shit in my GCSEs.
Bragging.
So I went to college and did them again and did shit in them a second time. So worst
Right.
brag ever. I basically just, I was that thing of like, obviously I just didn't want to have to get a job at 16 really. So I was just like, I'm going to go back to college. And then obviously at college, computers were like just starting to get half decent. So you could access the computers in the fucking college library, and it was around the time like Dead Rising 1 came out. So instead of actually doing study, I was skipping lessons and I was reading like Dead Rising forums, being like hyped for Dead Rising. But when I went there, I made friends with this kid who's Muslim, and he was his first name was Shabazz, which pretty sick name. But his middle name and surname, he was called Muhammad Ali. I'm like, it's like, I was like, you've got the easiest naming fucking system ever. You know what I mean? Like, you just name everyone of your child. You just name, you basically call your child God. You just name your fucking children after your prophet. That's so easy. It is like, this is Tim Jesus and fucking Angeline God. Like, just like, it's like,
that's it.
you never really say fucking names. Like, you never say like a mega Christian name. Like, a mega Christian name is,
it's Paul, isn't it? Paul's a Christian
it's
name.
John.
Like, because he was John, Paul. They're all shit
John
names.
Matthew
though,
is
you know what I mean?
like, you know what I mean? Like, that's shit. That's nothing like, you know what I mean?
There's no cool Christian names at all. Like, nah, I agree. So I found something weird on Twitter because I mean that's my life.
Googling
this guy was. Yeah, I wasn't GoPuff related, sadly, but this guy was selling his couch on Twitter. I don't know if you saw this. Kind of went viral.
No, I missed it.
So, guy was like, I'm trying to get rid of this couch, blah, blah, blah. So he said, I'll give it away for free. So someone messaged him, was like, what kind of condition is it in? Has it got, like, beer stains on, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no. He's like, has it got jizz stains on? And the man was like, no. He's like, because I'd understand if it did. Ha, ha, ha. Right? So he posted that, and then 30 other people posted the same response from the same guy, clearly looking for jizz-stained fucking furniture. So this guy is obviously wanting jizz-stained furniture. That's his thing.
His thinly veiled fetish was just like...
So, like, he posted it, and then there was, like, a comment underneath, oh my God, I can't believe it. I got one. And then they were sharing their posts, and it's just this one guy obsessed with couches. It's like, just have jizz on. It's fine if it has, because I understand you're an adult. Ha 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 ha. Like, mate, just say you want jizz-stained fucking
I wonder if how much is he...
Like, get to the point.
Do you know, like, when you think, like, when I think about fetishes, like, you know, like how people are, like, into feet or whatever, like, I always used to think of it as like, oh, you've watched so much porn, you're like just bored of regular women, so I need, because obviously I've experienced a bit of that myself as a fucking goon king, but like, so like, you know what I mean, where I'm like, I'm just sick of blondes with big breasts, so now I'm into brunettes with no breasts. Do you know what I mean? And I just think like, how far down the rabbit hole as it went, where you're just like, he's come on his couch so much that he started to find it sexy. Or like he's watched so much porn where a little bit of fucking comes like fell onto a couch and he thought, I'd buy that couch, like.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do it.
Like he's contacting Casson Couch, and they're just like, "Oh, you're looking for a job?" He's like, "No, I'm looking if you're selling second-hand couches."
Got any couches?
You know that couch that like mid women have sat on. Can I have that?
Yeah, but I think it's genuinely only men, though. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
God,
I don't think there's a woman out there who's like, oh, I'd love a jizz-filled couch. You know what I mean? I don't think there's one. I think men get bored really easily with whatever they're watching. So they're like, what else is good? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, that man in the road with a digger. Fuck, that's getting us off. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no woman ever bought bath water.
There is, though. There's those women who are like, oh, I fell in love with a fucking roller coaster and that. And I'm like,
yeah. Okay, so fair
she
enough.
went on
So
the-
fucking mental
she
women.
went on, well, yeah, they're mental men, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, no, but all men are like that, man. Eventually, I'll be like, see that cushion, that would get it. Like, I'm pretty sure as a teen, I was like, I'd
I
fuck
wonder,
me cushions.
yeah, I'm thinking if he fucked his couch, because I reckon that's probably a thing, you know what I mean? Like, he's found, like,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't have one, which is heartbreaking thinking about in hindsight now, but maybe he had, like, a leather couch, do you know what I mean? He's just like,
Well, that's it.
oh,
Do you know
like
what I mean?
a leathery crevice on a couch. Yeah, my mum would have been like, why is it worn out on this part of the couch but nowhere else?
Because it looks like a
And then
minge.
she's like putting her finger in it. She's like, oh, it's got something's in it. It stinks. And I'm just like, don't go on the couch.
Yeah, don't you'll
clean
get
it.
pregnant.
I've named it like
That's messed up.
Just steer from Couchina. We were just having some alone time because you're out.
She loves us. Just don't watch as well. I kiss her.
It's
But
like, where's
yeah, I
all
mean,
the
like
hand
women will
lotion
not
went? Why is
buy.
it down the side of the couch? I'm just like,
It's just Durex and hand lotion. But yeah, I mean, women don't buy bathwater. Do you know what I mean? They don't buy farts and jars.
I
or
would agree,
use-
though. Like, I
Really?
agree with the sentiment because I would say, on the whole, men are obviously massively more perverted than women.
Oh, for sure.
But I definitely think that there's some women out there who are just ass. Like, and
Yeah, I mean, if there is, I mean, where are they? Do you know what I mean? Because I've been looking and looking, and I just cannot find them.
I think a lot of it comes from like extreme loneliness. You know what I mean? So like when you're extremely fucking lonely, you know, like, so obviously I've seen those articles where it's like, I've married a roller coaster, and it's just like because she's never been touched from the waist down, and the way the fucking roller coaster she touched her fucking lips at one point, and she's like, shit, is this what
Is
love
this
is?
love? Yeah.
Because no
This
one
is
else
love.
because no one wants to talk. Like, obviously on my channel I was taught about fucking incels and stuff, and like literally female incels exist. They're just really rare.
Yeah.
Like, they're really rare.
Femcells, they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched. I mean, we've touched on it, but I watched the show, and then like there was this one woman, obviously, like they hid her face and that. She was like, "Yeah, I'm into gore porn. Like, I've seen people get their heads cut off, and I was just rogering myself while it was happening." I'm like, "Give me her number." Do you know what I mean? Like, that's interesting. She won't be a femcell when I'm done with that.
you say that, but that's because you just want to die, so you're just thinking of her like,
Yeah,
You're like, oh, we'll have sex and then she'll eat us afterwards.
Yeah, that's it. Because life is pain. No,
Yeah,
but
just
seriously,
pull
like,
my head off.
I was shocked.
No, my actual head.
yeah, my actual head. Just get rid of it. I don't need it. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, I mean, you did two great videos in response to other people's comments. But yeah, I mean, they're so angry and they don't want to take responsibility. They want to put the blame on everything else. It's not them. It's the women. It's the apps. It's 6 foot. Like that man said, you're a handsome, tall dude. I'm 6'1". Do you know what I mean? And I'm ugly as fuck. But I've got a girlfriend.
But that's the thing is the point is like, and the thing that I think they didn't want to fucking admit is like, and this is what I said in my second video was like, I just don't believe you actually face to face spoke to loads of women. Like, I just don't believe it. So like, if I can understand you feeling fucking dejected and stuff if you've been on dating apps and nothing else, but like I said, the solution is like, start going out.
Yeah, get out your fucking man's house.
Get out your fucking house.
Get off the forums and fucking speak to someone.
It's like the echo
Do you know what I
chamber
mean?
of online. It's like one of those things. Like, obviously, I've encountered it myself, and I mean, you probably still do. Like, there's still times where I go, "Did you see this thing?" And it was massive, and you're like, "No, I didn't see that," and vice versa. And it's like that's because we're in separate echo chambers of like stuff that we're more inclined to like. So it's shown with stuff that we're more inclined to like, and it's like, but then when you go to the real world, so like obviously, me and you, obviously our overlap in interests is obviously massive. So it's like, there's a lot of the time we will have seen the same stuff or sent it to each other. But then a lot of the times I'll send you stuff, and this might happen to you. Is like Gav will send me the same thing. You know what I mean? Where like, oh, I'm getting that as well because other people have those things. But that's like unique to your fucking echo chamber. But if you were to speak to your parents, like my mum, like, and I'd be like, oh, did you see that? She'd be like, no, and say anything. Like, I see videos of dogs because I love dogs.
That's it.
And he's like, all right. So, and I'm like, well, what, did you say this about? No, I just watch videos of dogs in the news. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Sake.
I thought you said dogs in the nude there. I was like, well, aren't they already?
Yeah, all dogs are in the nude, the perverts.
Yeah, dogs and
Who's
But
a
yeah, I
good
mean, I
boy?
get what you're saying. like they're in this bubble of inceldom, I suppose, like as you said, like they're just surrounded by other incels crying and bitching because I'm 5'4" and I'm fucking.
And the fact that you're watching that content as well, like you're actually watching content about how unfuckable you are, and you're trying to satiate it in your mind, going, well, if let's find other unfuckable people. Say we're not the problem because, and you're like, you are the problem.
You are the problem because you the lack of confidence. Like the way I look at it is, like I'll say, like I've got anxiety about this issue, right? So in my mind, stay away from that issue. But then the anxiety gets worse. So the more you fucking do it, the better you fucking get. And rejection will hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like that girl. She didn't like me. It hurts. But then you think, well, I'm fucking over that already. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll just become dead to it. And then you'll be like, all right, she doesn't like us, so fuck. But they could ask 1,000 women out. And they would guaranteed get 10, at least 10 women.
But the thing is they won't ask 1,000 women out. That's the thing. That's the point why I think so hilarious, because I just like they're going like, well, like obviously the guys, he's like, I'm a small Indian man and women aren't interested in me or whatever, and I'm like, and I'm thinking like on a dating app, probably on a dating app, because on a dating app every woman is getting matched with men she probably has no right to be being matched with. Because that's how dating apps work. And dating apps are way more based on physical metrics, because it's very hard to discern your personality in a very short paragraph, you know what I mean? So it has to just be like, am I physically attracted to you? Where it's like, Louis C.K. fucking used to do this a bit in his stand-up, where he's like, because he'd be like, I'm an admittedly not good-looking bloke, but when I'd talk to a woman, I'd say, just give us a second, let us speak to you, sort of thing, like, you'll like us if you speak to us, sort of thing. Yeah. And it's like, kind of like, because, and that's not like it's not a cocky thing on his part. I mean, he's a professional comedian, so he's obviously a good talker. But it's just that thing of like, give us a chance. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. It's like it's putting yourself in that situation for the chance, and you will get rejected. But like I was talking about, like in my video, I say like, you going up to a girl and saying like, oh, you're gorgeous, or couldn't help but notice you, or nice to meet you, or whatever, like, and her instantly rejecting you, like that's like 20 seconds of your life that you'll forget about. And
exactly, that's what you said.
And like once you've done it 2 or 3 times, you realize, what actually happened after that rejection? Like
it changed
the
nothing.
Absolute worst that like I can genuinely think of, like the absolute worst that's happened is, actually 90% of the time, the worst thing that'll happen is like her friends might give you some funny looks. And then you walk away, and like they might give you some funny fucking looks if you care enough to look back, I suppose. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then the absolute worst, and this was like literally 1 in 1,000, was like a lass with a boyfriend like starting on us until. Yeah. But then me being obviously a big bloke as well, fortunate enough to be a big bloke, and then I just said, I was like, mate, I wasn't trying to steal your lass. I didn't know she was your girlfriend. All I said is that I thought she looked beautiful. And I'd like to get her on. And then she told me she had a boyfriend, and I said, don't worry about it, sorry for disturbing you. And then he was like, oh, okay, sorry mate. And I'm like, yeah, because like you should still, like, you don't know a woman's not single until you don't, and like this, like I'd seen a thing where it was like, oh, look for women with rings on, because if they've got rings on obviously like a wedding finger, it's like that means they're taken and they don't want to fucking speak to you. I've spoken to loads of women who had rings on those fingers, and they weren't married. They just had a ring on that finger, and it wasn't even to ward off men. Some women just literally put a ring on nearly every fucking finger and don't think about it. Don't think of it as this big deal. And then she's like, you know what I mean? And like, because I've literally been talking to her last night, but like noticed later on, because I don't go out my way looking for that, or didn't in me fucking single days. And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't realize you fucking, are you engaged? And she's like, oh no, she's like, this is like a fucking £10 ring from fucking Topshop or some shit, you know what I mean?
Well, that's it, yeah. That's it.
But it's just any excuse than to actually talk to women. Just go and talk.
Well, that's the thing. It's just like, well, no, because you don't understand how it is for me. Yeah, we fucking do. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was a fucking loser in school. I'm still a fucking loser now. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I like that girl. I'm going to go speak to her. Do you know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. And I mean, I've had multiple girlfriends in the past, and I've asked girls out when I was at school and stuff, and they're like, nah, go away. And I was like, all right, fair enough. Like, I wasn't, maybe the first time I was like, oh, I like that girl. But it's the fear of doing it over actually doing it, because once you do it and you get rejected 100 times, you're like, do you know what it is? I got rejected. But like, I know a kid called Andrew who is literally still living with his mother, almost 40, fucking 5'1", hasn't had a girlfriend, and he was saying, "Yeah, I just don't talk to women anymore." I was like, "Well, why?" Well, because they'll say no, right? But there'll be one that says yes eventually. Just fucking keep. I mean, like, I'm not saying go and look at a fucking 10 and be like, "I'm gonna go and ask her."
Yeah.
But actually do that. Fucking ask a 10. Do you know what I mean?
The problem is
because
it depends what you want, because I think the thing is as well is I think much like, you know, like how, you know, you talk about like the Disney princess generation and stuff of women, where you go like, well, women are just waiting for the Prince Charming and the perfect man and stuff like that, blah blah blah. It
doesn't exist.
But like it's also like there's some guys, and I think a lot of incels are a bit like that, and they're just like, but I shouldn't have to just go and fucking beg, because that's how they say it in their mind of like, I shouldn't have to go and blah blah blah, like, and I'm just like, but you live in the real world. You don't live in like a fantasy. Like, yes, would your life be 10 times easier if you were like tall as fuck and handsome as fuck? Maybe because like I'm trying to think like, oh yeah, so I've got a friend who I've probably spoke to you about in the past, who he used to be a policeman and now he's in the army. He's and I think we've gamed on Call of Duty before in the past anyway. Bit massive lad, half caste, like I think his dad's like from the Caribbean or something. Really good looking bloke. Women never hit on him. He had massive success with women, so it was probably easier when he spoke to them. But they didn't approach him still. So don't get us wrong. Every time I was out, he pulled, and he always did well with women. But women don't approach men.
He was doing the work.
So like even like a 6'5", handsome, successful dude, like literally like could have been a supermodel, like not a supermodel, but like a model or whatever you fucking call a male model or whatever. He could have been a model. Like he's like really fucking good looking bloke, mint crack. And it was just like, you know, like the antithesis of me stood beside him with me fucking teeth like an unkept graveyard and me fucking man tits, and I'm like, and I'm his friend who makes him laugh, and I'm like,
you're just the jolly jester, and he's the king.
Well, if you go talk to those girls, can I maybe talk to the ugly friend?
Can I have the scraps?
May I smell your fingers afterwards?
Oh God. But I mean, but that's another thing. They'll just say, yeah, but I'm not that guy, and then they'll blame it on the Chads or whatever the fuck.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He would be classified, I would say, as a Chad, because he was successful at everything he fucking did. Was making good money. Like I say, handsome as fuck, tall as fuck. Like, he lifted weights, he was fit as fuck and everything. Like, he tried to get me to go to the gym, and like, I'm just a piece of shit. And I was just like, I'll just be a funny friend who's fat. I can't be awesome.
Yeah, I'll just be the funny
funny, you know what I mean?
one. Yeah.
But still, women didn't approach him every night out. No, at no point did a woman go over and be like, yeah, you're fucking lush, or whatever. He just,
but I mean, they blame it on like the Chads and say, well, yeah, but he's fit, he's exercised, he's in good shape, he's tall. Like, yeah, you can't change your height, but if you are that concerned about getting women, go to the fucking gym. If that's your excuse, I'm not saying that you should have to. I think there's people out there for everyone. But if that's the issue, well, he's muscly when I'm not, so do that then. Work out for a year. And then come back and see if you're fucking still an incel, if you think it's just muscles. Because it's not. It's everything. I'm fat as fuck. Do you know what I mean? But,
Same.
I mean, I've done a sex. Do you know what I mean?
I did that sex once, I'm honest.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, that's what they're looking for. Let's be honest. They just want to fucking shag someone.
But, that's guys, isn't it? That's what we do.
That's
like,
guys. And
to be fair,
is.
Obviously, we're older men now, and obviously have had that experience.
You are. I'm still 21,
and we've had that experience and stuff. So, like... Obviously, we still want to have sex because we're men, but like it's not my personality. Whereas, like, don't get us wrong, I think if I hadn't had sex at this point, it probably would be my personality. I'd be like,
it would.
I need to have sex. I can't
just
keep
we'll
fucking
do something about it.
Keep fucking this couch. I can't keep going on fucking whatever it is, fucking Gumtree and asking about fucking just stained couches.
Just
you know, and the only thing stopping us from killing.
But that's the thing. If it was what personality, would do something about it. We wouldn't sit and blame everybody. Do you know what I mean? We'd be like, this is on me. I haven't done this. But that's the whole. I think it's the whole thing of the incel internet. It's like, oh well, he's the same as me because he blames these people, so I'm going to blame them. And they're very like misogynistic. Yeah. Like, don't get us wrong, I hate women too, but I just hate them for other reasons.
I've experienced them, and not for me.
Yeah, they're not for me. Like, they're the fucking worst.
Yeah. Tell me more about this couch.
Yes, exactly. When do we get the AI sex robots again?
When do we get the AI sex couch again? Like, that'll be a fucking amazing. I can sit on it.
Yeah, but
it's like a Roomba and it does the fucking hoovering.
Yeah, I'd love that. I saw a post actually today which was quite clever. Like, they don't want AI to write stories and draw art. They want AI to do the dishes and do the hoovering. Like, yes,
100%.
yes, please.
That is the thing. We are doing AI completely wrong because it's like they're like, we can get AI to fucking make movies and then we don't need directors or actors anymore. And I'm like, oh, I just want to fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, not have to go to work, back-breaking work for the rest of my day. Can we, like, focus on that instead?
Exactly.
And then, did you say, I don't know if you'd seen it, it was, I'm sure it was earlier this year, you know those, like, robot dogs? Was it Boston Dynamics or something? You can buy one now that has, like, a flamethrower attached to it. And it's, like, only $9,000,
Nice.
and, like, anyone can just buy one. I'm like, that seems like the end of times.
Yeah, it does. Like, don't tell the incels that. Do you know what I mean? There'll just be dogs that they'll have flamethrowers. I mean, they'll fuck the dogs
Yeah,
first
of
a few
course,
times. Do you know what I mean? And then they'll get them burnt down. But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's just the incels like to just blame everything but themselves. They don't want to look inward, which I think is an important lesson for everyone, is to look inward. Do you know what I mean? Like, doing therapy, I mean, my therapist was fucking awful. I was way worse after therapy than I've ever been, just so you know. Because I'd tell her shit, and she'd be like, oh, that really affects me. How does that make you feel? I'm like, well, that's just normal Tuesday for me. And then she'd be like, oh, well, we'll just move on then. I'm like, that's a joke. Like, come on, like, give me the therapy. Do you know what I mean?
She's like, well, you seem fine. Because you laughed.
How does that make you feel? I'm like, well, really sad. Oh, so none of your parents loved you. Thanks for coming. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was it.
She's like, so
but, like,
are you
looking
gonna
inward.
pay
Yeah, well, that's
It's-
it.
well,
Like, looking inward is important.
They do reckon,
it
though.
really is, and they need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. But yeah, just on therapy, I just wanted to say, like, I think it's been shown that, like, it doesn't work for everyone. Like, it's like literally, like, some people it just actually won't. So, like, my mother's done it and she really vouches for it. But I just think personally, like, I'm too self-aware for therapy, because you'd just be going like, well, this, and that. And I'm like, yes, I understand that it sucks and why it sucks, but that doesn't change the way I feel. Like, nothing you say changes the way I feel.
It's just like you'll get a breakthrough during therapy, and it'll all fall into place, and you'll feel better. Afterwards, I was like, I'm having like panic attacks every day. Like, I'm not better in any way.
What's it? The Healthy Gamer GG? Have you seen that guy? The little fucking Asian guy in America. He's like a psychologist who is also like was also a hardcore gamer, and he does this channel. It's like healthygamer.gg or something like that. And he basically is like a licensed therapist or whatever, or psychiatrist or whatever. And then he obviously offers advice to people who are like obviously fucking gamers and lonely and blah blah blah. And one of the things he does is he talks to a lot of the streamers, because obviously a lot of streamers are like ADHD and things like that, and he has like these 2-hour like therapy sessions where he's like basically like, before we go into it, this isn't legal advice, this is just my opinion, blah blah blah, because they're not paying or anything like that. And obviously it would be private if it was like done, but they do it obviously on stream and stuff. And they have these breakthroughs, and the fucking streamer cries and stuff. And then a few months later, the streamer's back to being miserable as fuck again. And then the streamer will sometimes go back on his show, and even one like genuinely, and I'm not saying he had anything to do with this because I don't know enough about the situation, and I very much doubt he did, because he's genuinely like, he's earnest, he's like, you know, he's doing his best and whatnot. But like, I'm pretty sure like one guy who he had spoke to killed himself as well. Who was like a streamer, like obviously not like a massive streamer or something, but like still went on to kill himself because like therapy just didn't do anything for him, because it just someone saying that shit thing happened to you and we understand it and it wasn't your fault. Like, it's like the fucking scene from Good Will Hunt where he's like, it's not your fault, Will.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know. And he's like, it's not your fault. And he's like, I know. And then they have the breakthrough and he cries and whatever, and he's like, it's not your fault. But obviously that's a film, and there's the happy ending is that he realizes it isn't my fault and I'm living in the past and blah blah blah. That doesn't change for most people. You go like, yeah, those things weren't my fault, but does it still suck that I had a fucking, you know what I mean, like a parent who didn't give a fuck? Like, yeah, did I still fucking miss out on all these things? Yeah. Do I still not have that support network? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, I mean, my girlfriend's got a whole family she can fall on if anything happens. You know what I mean? If anything happens for me, I get on with it. Then that's been my life since I was a kid. Yeah. It's just like, if there's a problem, you've got to solve it yourself. And I thought, you know what it is? I'll go to therapy, because I mean, the last 3 years have been fucking rough. Like, I won't lie, like the worst I've ever been. Yeah. And I was like, right, I'll go to therapy. and I thought this will help, and it didn't. And I sat myself down and says, I'm in this situation because of sadly things that happened, but I'm the only person who can pull myself out of this. And it's took me 3 years to be like, fuck it, I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it done. Like, I mean, you've known me for years. I lost loads of weight, and now I've put it all back on. That's because of trauma, because food was my happy place, and food isn't love. But in the moment, I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking eat this because it makes us feel better. And it doesn't.
It's the cheap dopamine.
So
That's my biggest vice is obviously fucking energy drinks and fucking food. Like that's so I don't really drink anymore. I definitely don't drink in the house. Almost. I don't even want to say almost never. I literally just don't drink in the house. But energy drinks and food every day, I'm a piece of shit because like that's my dopamine. That's my fucking reprieve essentially.
Yeah, and I'm working on it now. But I used to be so like, what's the word where you just buy something for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's a word I'm looking for. I can't think of it.
Impulsive.
I mean, we joke about that all the time. Yeah, impulsive. Like, I used to be worse than I am now. Like, now I barely buy a video game. Even if I want it, I'm like, I'll just wait until it's on sale. Like, but that used to be another thing. It's like, well, that little bit of dopamine's going to make me feel better.
You were insane for like a period of time with video games. It was like every single new video game, you got it the day it came out.
Yeah. I did, because I didn't want to miss out, and I was like, "Oh, I've got this new thing, and it's going to make us feel better." And it lasts 20 minutes,
and
then you're just back to feeling like shit. Yeah, and I'm like, "This is going to change my life."
I think that's what's mad about video games, and it's not thought about enough. Is like how much fucking video games are just an escape for so many people, and not an escape, and not an escape for like good, healthy reasons. It's an escape because like things are so shit, like. Being a superhero in a fantastical land is the best thing that they can fucking hope for, sort of thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
It's like so much like there's so much like fucking quiet desperation in video games that people don't think about, and it's like it's kind of when you think about how monetized it is, it's like predatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think video games can help mental health and stuff like that because it is a distraction, but it's just a band-aid on an issue that.
It's not me like saying like I fucking hate video games. I just think because obviously I love video games, but I think the amount of people, myself included, who have used them as a crutch in the past to get through fucking shit times, rather than like the entertainment source that there should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Instead of just being like, this is like, oh, I'm gonna play this game because this game looks fun. I'm like, I'm going to play this game because if there's so much going on, I just don't think about anything outside of it and realize I haven't pissed in 8 hours, like, because the real world sucks.
Yeah, well, that's it. But I mean, again, even with all those problems, like going back to the incels, like I've still fucked bitches. So
that was one of the funniest comments. Actually, was someone said, people in glass houses shouldn't fucking say something. It's just like because you look like an incel, and I'm like, but even if I did, and let's be honest, maybe I fucking do, but like, that doesn't make sense because that makes me not a person in a glass house because I literally have had sex my entire life. I'm currently in a relationship.
What does an incel look like?
But I think it was funny. He called us a neck beard, and I'm like, mate, I've literally got like the fullest beard that you could fucking have. Like,
am I a neck beard? Is that what this is?
Neck beard would be like you cannot grow anything on the sides or your fucking tash at all. And then you just have like just hair like there, you know what I mean?
Right, okay,
mate,
okay.
I'm fucking beard.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
But it's not. But it's not even a stylistic choice. I'm much like the incels. I'm just fucking lazy. So.
Yeah. I like the style of my beard. Like I've got my little Viking point. I want to get braids in it and that, but then I just get annoyed because like egg gets stuck in my mustache, so I shave it.
So the only thing I've actually fucking cut is I've cut it out my mouth because it was like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what is the fucking like survival kind of mechanism behind having your fucking beard hairs push right into your fucking mouth. Like what's going on, evolution? Like.
Yeah,
what's that about? Because like they're literally like it's like a fucking spider's legs, fucking trying to tickle the inside of me fucking mouth and eat anything. Like it doesn't matter what it is, and it's just like all up in there. And I'm like, I don't understand why we have this. Because I'm thinking like even if I was just like even if I was the classic caveman carnivore diet, I'd still like have it around me mouth and shit. You know what I mean? Like even a bit of meat with no fucking sauce on would still be like
it's still you'd still be
like
chewing
big
hair.
grease or something in there. Like so, I'm just like, what's the fucking point of that? I suppose if you're like if you're in a really cold climate, I suppose it really protects your lips. I suppose.
Yeah,
but like you're fucked for eating. What
Yeah,
we're talking
I know,
about,
definitely.
fuck's sake.
Beards and incels and
cells.
gooning.
Beard cells.
Beard
But yeah, I just
cells.
thought that was really funny to be like, people in glass houses. I'm like, you don't understand what that means.
Yeah, like clearly. But I mean, what does an incel look like? I mean, in my mind, it's just a dude.
Mate,
Do you know what I mean?
That's
It's
what
like
I'm saying though. Like the last job that I worked in, like fucking the guy was early 30s, like 33, and he was probably 5'10" or 11, like tall enough, and he had crack. He liked video games. He liked music. He liked films. He was very knowledgeable. He had a sense of humor. Like when I talked to him, like he was probably autistic. Don't get us wrong, but like,
Yeah.
but when I talked to him, I was like, "You're definitely affable and like interesting." And like, I've just met you in 5 minutes. We're already having conversation. Within 2 minutes or something, he was telling, because I think the Deadpool 1 trailer had just Deadpool and Wolverine first teaser or something had just launched at the time.
Yeah.
Like a month ago or a couple of months ago. And he was like, within 10 minutes, he was showing us that and telling us and saying that he loved Deadpool and then telling us like facts about it and shit. Whereas like, obviously, it's like some of that shit's nerdy, but I was just like, but you can talk, no problem. I'm
Yeah.
like, and then it was like, obviously, I found out from my friend who worked at the company, because he knows this lad well. He was just like, yeah, he's never had a girlfriend and stuff, but he wants that. But it's also the thing I haven't covered about, which I probably should do a video on, is like, don't be in the friend zone.
oh yeah,
Because I think
fuck
that's
that.
a big thing as
No.
well. There's like a lot of
Yeah.
incels, like, well, they're just like, well, I'm just a good friend, blah, blah, blah. And like,
You know,
just, you need.
I think it's like I think it's both of them that are the issue because he's in the friend zone wanting to smash, and she's put him in the friend zone knowing she never will.
Yeah.
So it's predatory on his part because like I'll be our best friend, she'll let us fuck, and then shit and predatory on her part. It's like, oh, I'll just prey on this guy, he wants us, and I'll never let him have it,
Yeah.
and he'll do shit for us.
He does shit for you,
and
it's
just
like,
fucking
the things.
yeah.
The things people go, well, what is the stuff he does? And you're like, well, a lot of these guys will take the women out for food,
Yeah,
or like companies massive. Like time is your most valuable fucking resource. Like is anyone on the fucking planet, and attention's probably the second biggest one. So like you're getting unlimited attention whenever you need it. Like anytime you need validation. Like that's what Instagram is, and fucking online. That's what one of the things that has become. We're even kind of privy to it in one sense because we even like everyone likes validation. Everyone likes someone to be like,
oh yeah, for
I
sure.
liked your fucking post. So like you give if you're in the friend zone, or like rather you're the woman, the reciprocator of the friend zone of like the fucking incel pet that you have now. Like that's what you get. Anytime you can text him and he'll tell you you're fucking class. And like you can whinge to him about other men, and he'll go, "Yes, they are bastards. You're amazing." But
Yeah, I know somebody like that. I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, yeah, men are the worst. Like, you should never ever have any pity for men. Women are abused and blah. And like that's not how it works. Like I understand nobody's touched your dick in 15 years, but going on like that is not going to get you a woman because they're not attracted to simps.
men are the worst, and then so are women. So all humans are the
that's it.
worst. Don't get us wrong though. I would, like like the whole fucking man bear thing. Like loads of people are getting like really upset about it and taking it personally. Like I'd rather be in the woods with a fucking bear.
Yeah, same. Because women are stupid.
Because like fucking obviously men suck. You know what I mean? I agree with that sentiment, but that's
Same.
not gonna get you. Like you're not gonna end up with a girlfriend just by like piling on,
Being overly
and being like overly like.
Yeah.
So like that's why you're in that situation, is because you put every girl you meet on a fucking. What's also mad about the friend zone is, like I say, I think I've told you about in the past, like one of my ex roommates, like she had like 5 friend zones, and she wasn't even like insanely attractive. She was like average as fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
It's
you're
insane.
an average, really average girl, and you've got 5 guys in the friend zone, and she called them the friend zones. And like I say, a few times a week, she'd be out with different ones of them, and they'd be paying for dinner and stuff. And I just wanted to be like, I wanted to shake them. Like, obviously, I didn't know these lads, and obviously, she was my roommate, so I obviously wasn't going to be saying stuff. But it was like it's like, those sketches where, like, the girlfriend walks out the room, and then the fucking guy's like, help me. Like, I wanted to be like, dude, stop it.
Yeah.
This girl who doesn't touch your dick.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like, in my opinion, like, obviously it's a different opinion to other people's, but I cannot be friends with a woman.
Yeah.
I can't. And
Because you
I'm not
cannot,
saying that to sound
you
sexist.
cannot find a woman who's that racist. So.
Yeah, well, exactly. I just cannot find a woman who hates all races except the whites. No, but seriously, like, because I think there's always that, like, idea that maybe if you get drunk, you might smash them. Do you know what I mean? Like, sex, not like punch them. I don't need to be drunk to do that. I'll hit a bitch sober. Do you know what I mean? I'm a real man.
I'd fight a bear and
joke.
mention a woman, like.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. But like, someone I know is literally obsessed with this one girl, and other women have been like, I like you. He's like, nah, I've got this lass. And she's like, puts a picture on Instagram, like, on another friend date, and then you see his dead, soulless eyes. Like, mate, she doesn't love you. She's never going to love you. Fucking move on. Like, I just want to be your friend. No thanks, I've got enough friends. Like, see you and dip. I just don't understand that. It baffles me. It fucking baffles us. But yeah, I like to hit women. Just...
It's just that thing. It's just that thing that they're just so desperate they cannot see the wood for the fucking trees.
Yeah.
But you just think of like all that time you've wasted on women who just don't give a fuck. Like,
no. But the no, I'm sorry, like, but the women know as well,
the women
because
know.
they're like, well, they'll go on a date. Like, it's just a friend date, or this is my best friend, and like, you're killing that dude. You know what you're doing. You're getting what you need from him.
I do kind of like those videos though, where it's like, will you call your best fucking guy friend and ask him to fuck? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
he's like,
she's
he
like,
never would.
He's
like,
wouldn't.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he wouldn't. She's like, text him right now and just say, look, I've been thinking that would take this friendship to the next level or something. Do you want to come around mine?
Yeah.
And every single time the guy's like, yeah, I'll be round in 10 minutes.
It's about fucking time, Linda. It's been 12 years.
Yeah. He's like immediately sends a dick pic. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
just,
ready.
His dick's
I'm
out.
ready.
It's like, let's go.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't think you fucking
and
knew.
then
You
it's just
knew
like,
that
well, that
shit,
changes things. And I'm like, and I'm thinking, it either changes things where he's either fucked it and now you'll just not speak to him, so the choice is out of his hands again. So it's like he hasn't really got out of the friend zone. You've just blocked him, or you just say, look, I don't like you like that, and then put him back in the friend zone, and then he's such a cuck that he just like accepts it. Like those are the only two options.
I don't get it. Yeah.
But
it's a mental.
The thing
It's
is like, obviously I knew there was going to be backlash on those videos. I put them out as bait essentially because it's just, I knew that would happen.
But
I genuinely think the advice is genuine though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like when I watch them, like sometimes I'll watch a video and it's like they've talked for 20 minutes and said fuck all. But you were actually saying like you've got to get out there and do it. Don't fucking listen to the bullshit, because there is so much bullshit on the internet. Like Andrew Tate, there's a bunch of fucking like fans of his who literally will only drink sparkling water now. Do you know what I mean? Like.
It's
What
like
fucking
drinking
loser?
Static TV, my favourite.
Yeah, I'm going to be a carbon copy of this fucking Gollum looking dude. He's just rich.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And yeah, he could probably knock us the fuck out because he's a kickboxer, and I'll say that, but it doesn't make me any less of a man.
No.
Because he's got 15 Bugattis and I don't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just stop finding these people that fucking glom on.
What I think's quite funny
and live
about
your life.
like as you get older, and like I say it in the video about like like mastery of anything, like the 10,000 hour rule. I completely believe in that. You know what I mean? Because like I said in the video, it's like a catch-all. Most things don't take 10,000 hours. They just give you such a fantastical figure, because essentially if you just keep doing something, you will get better at it. And I believe that more and more. Like, so now I'm at that point now in like, like I really hate celebrity more than ever. And then I really hate nepotism even more than that. So like, I really think it's unimpressive that you came from a really like hyper like lucky background and then succeeded, because you had every advantage in life. So like, they're going like, the example I always use is like, it was years ago, but it was like, Will Smith's daughter, Willow or whatever.
Yeah.
She had a song out. It was like Whip Your Hair Back and Forth or something like that. Anyway, around that time, someone was like, oh, and she's released this song, and she's also like a budding musician, and she can play guitar and she can fucking play the drums. And I'm thinking, if all of my basic needs were catered for, so like I never have to worry about bills, and I don't have to go to work, and I'm not exhausted from work as a result of work, and like I could learn drums. I did learn guitar. I learned guitar myself. You know what I mean? I could, and it's the same with Andrew Tate. I'm like, Andrew Tate's not that big of a dude, and I'm like he's not massively big. He's like, no, I don't think he's like 6'7" or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm not saying I could chin Andrew Tate. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like, with his resources, I could be just that fit, and I could learn fucking kickboxing. Obviously, the problem that you have and the advantage that he has is that obviously he did those things from a young age. So that's obviously massive. Like, that's the biggest thing you've got. Like I say, time being your biggest fucking commodity. But it's just like, I'm pretty sure if I literally grew up with good genetics and was kept physically fit, because obviously the hand you're dealt kind of fucks you for the rest of your life. Like, my parents weren't fit and didn't have any inclination towards fitness or give a fuck. But if my parents were like mega fit and kept me mega fit, and then made us go to kickboxing, I'm pretty sure I'd be fucking class at kickboxing if I did that every fucking day. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's that thing of like mastery. As I get older, I'm like, it is impressive in one sense, but it's more like, especially if it's like, I prefer it more if you like actively went out your way to do it. It's kind of like Travis Barker from Blink-182 is known as like a class drummer, but it's like his parents like made him do jazz drums from the age of 7 onwards. So I'm just like, that's why he's such a good drummer. It's not like he got a fucking 15 was like, you know what, I love punk music, because that's obviously what he's known in the punk genre. It's not like, oh, I love punk music, I'm gonna learn drums and then be a great punk
it was
drummer.
ingrained
it was
in
like
his
he
childhood,
already had the 10,000 hours by the time he started to do punk music, and people were like, oh, he was so good. And it's like, yeah, because he was already basically like a fully trained fucking drummer by this point, where like he can just and then punk, like as someone who likes punk and pop punk music as myself, like it's really basic. So like him just adding just that little bit of flair makes him one of the top 10 drummers on the planet for like pop punk music. So it's like, it's impressive if you think about it under those metrics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, it would come across as more impressive if it was like you were 14 and you became like the biggest drummer in the world.
Yeah, so people are like, well, Andrew Tate, he's like shredded and could knock you out. And I'm like, if I was a millionaire and I could get every single fucking meal catered for us and I could get fucking TRT, no problem, I'm like, I'd probably be shredded as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
easily,
because it is all catered for. I mean, he had a shit upbringing like ourselves, like from what he says. Do you know what I mean? It's just he had a dad that fucking said, you want something, you've got to work for it, kind of thing. And I applaud that. That's fine. My issue with him is that everything he says is like, it's gospel. Like, bunch of people come out and say that they were raped by him. It's a Matrix attack. Oh, okay then. So we'll just believe that. Do you know what I mean? It's like the believe all women thing, but just for Andrew Tate, and it's just fucking
the
bullshit.
Matrix fun. As someone who enjoys that film as well, like specifically the first Matrix, obviously is like a really great film. I just love that the idea of it's a Matrix attack. I'm like, you're not that important, mate.
Nah.
You're like,
mate, you've got a fucking podcast.
You're just like a guy who
you're shouting at a screen.
You're a guy who traffics cam girls. Like,
that's it. And he said it in the past. You know what I mean? There's actual proof of him saying, "Yeah, I'd love bomb this girl. She'd fall in love with us, and then I'd get her to do OnlyFans or cams or whatever."
I mean, there was like obviously
and then take the money.
In my video where I'm essentially talking about like obviously that book came out. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's the game where it was about how to talk to women and stuff. It was like this big book that came out in like fucking the early noughties, back when a lot of people still read. Like, you know, like obviously now people read way less. But like, anyway, and it was about like pickup artists. Do you know what the pickup artistry is and all that? Well, so like so I read that book and stuff, and like obviously in my video I talk about certain things like that where it's like it is a bit like pickup artistry where they're basically just saying, I just hate like the terms they use is like gay as fuck. They're just like, oh, if you see a group of girls, go over and open and be like, open is just like you fucking starting the conversation with the girls. I'm like, just like saying weird shit like that. But like, but a lot of me stuff is just that like, but the problem with pickup artistry is like it's the other side of it, which is like I think it's bullshit. They're like, they talk about like peacocking and they're like, oh, wear outlandish clothes so that you stand out and all this, and I'm like, that's terrible advice. Like a lot of that. So for me, I was just like, I was passing some of it like where I'm like, but you do need to just go up to women and speak to them, and you don't need a fucking big opening other than just genuinely being like, couldn't help but notice you're fucking gorgeous, or like, how's it going? Like, how's your fucking evening going? You fucking lush, or I had to come and talk to you, or anything like that. Just, you know, it doesn't need a biggie. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Like, because every girl on the planet, like, I mean, there'll be one. If you do 1,000, there'll be one girl who responds to that. Yeah. But like, you do just need to go and fucking talk. But it's just that's the thing with the comments. Like I said, like, I don't believe these guys have done that. They might have been rejected 1,000 times on a dating app. But like dating app rejections, like you getting a match and then them not speaking to you or not responding to your fucking message. So like, is that really like a learning experience versus like doing it in person and looking someone? I'm like one of the points I made is like, but have you looked hundreds of women actually in the eye and spoke to them? And it's like the answer is always no.
No, yeah.
And I'm like,
But I'll get this book that'll fix it for us. It's not.
Yeah.
It's personal interaction. Yeah, it like you said, 10,000 hours. You'll learn what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? To the point that it becomes like second nature.
and it just doesn't hurt to like be rejected because like
No.
not everyone's for you.
You've got to get used to it.
But like as well, it's an insult. Shouldn't you be kind of used to it as well? Like because you're literally being rejected by all women at that point.
I think personally, they've been rejected by one, and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm never doing that again because it hurts so much." So they put the barriers up and they sit behind the keyboards or what have you. But like, I think growing up when we did, it was fucking. We were bullied all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like people said shit all the time, but it was never on the computer. It was always in person.
Yeah.
So you just develop this "I don't give a fuck" kind of attitude anymore, unless they were gonna beat you up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were just like, right, I got called a fucking name, and now these kids are just always on the computer. So it's just like, oh well, I don't have to interact with a real person, and it just makes
that's
it worse
the
for
thing
them.
that's like, because I'd seen it was like 60% of all dating's online and stuff like that, and I'm like, but I was like, but if you go out on a Saturday night, people are out.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go online.
Yeah.
So like this idea that you have to do it online, I'm just like, I'm not saying that but like, if you're doing it on, because I was obviously lucky enough that when I did use like Tinder and stuff like that, I had success. Like, I wouldn't be like I got 100% matches or anything like that. Probably had a sub 10% match rate, but I was getting matches and I was getting fucking dates from it and meeting up with women and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, objectively, it was going better than obviously it would for an incel. Do you know what I mean? But even still, I would still say like, unless that's the experience you're having, like if you're having that experience, then I would say fair enough. Like stay on fucking dating apps. If it's going well, but if it isn't, just go out in person and speak to people.
Yeah.
Like, and also one of the things is like, obviously, I think to get the experience under your belt, you should just approach any woman that you find attractive and just speak to her. And just get it and get the rejections, just get a few rejections under your belt until it doesn't fucking thing. But then, as you learn as well, you learn to see cues more. Like a lot of the time, like I'd look around and then if any girl held me eye contact for a little bit, or sometimes they'd fucking smile or something, I'd think, I might be in there.
I'm going
and
in
then
there.
I'd go and speak, and then obviously sometimes you'd fucking have a pleasant conversation and find out the person was very not interested or like didn't get my fucked up sense of humor or something like that, which is most people on the fucking planet. And then, but then you've learnt. You go like, well, I've learnt because most people aren't going to be for you anyway. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Like, what are the odds that you're going to find someone who you're attracted to? They're attracted to you. Then your personalities fucking get on.
Yeah.
And then you fucking get together. Like those things are so fucking slim to find all those things, and that's the minimum you need in a fucking person.
Yeah.
So like those
it.
are so fucking slim. You should be going through as many people as fucking fast as possible, because you know what I mean. Like you're talking, it's going to be thousands of people until you find someone who's ticking those boxes.
I
in a
agree.
lot of instances. So you need to just. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of rejection, like you say, perceived rejection anyway, is like 30 seconds or less. Sometimes I can tell if the vibe's off.
It changes nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, your feelings get hurt for a couple of seconds. Let's be honest, it doesn't last all that long. Unless you internalize that shit and make it your whole personality, it doesn't last that long.
It doesn't last that long, and then in your
baffles
choosing
me
to
why
let it
they
last
give
that
a
long.
fuck. Yeah, exactly. If it is lasting that long, it's because of you. It's not because of her. It's because she's moved on with her fucking life. Do you know what I mean? She's banging the next Chad, as you call them. Do you know what I mean? You've internalized that pain and thought, well, I'll never again, instead of thinking, oh, fuck it, let's do this again.
Yeah.
Eventually, incels could literally, it would end if they just literally just spoke to somebody. It's that simple. And every single incel, once they've had sex once, will be like, I never ever want to go back to that, and they will just literally find other women to do it with. And it's that simple. It sounds stupid, but it is. Do you know what I mean? But speaking of going out, I went out with my girlfriend the other day, and I had my kids with us, and a massive fight broke out, and I'm talking like 15 people.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
we're next to Iceland.
Yeah.
My girlfriend goes to me, tell them to stop. What? Excuse me? Like, no, I'm hurrying my kids and my girlfriend into Iceland, we went to a food shopping thing, and she was like, tell them. I was like, why me?
Why me?
Well, you're bigger than them all. I was like, yeah, but they might have knives. I'm not telling nobody unless you or my children are in danger. I'm fucking doing nothing. She's like, yeah, but somebody's getting hurt. I was like, yeah, not me and my kids though. Do you know what I mean?
This is the video they should play it at all women who are interested in guys who are 6 foot, because we're both fucking 6'1", and it's like,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to fight people. I'll fight if I absolutely have to.
No.
Like,
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
have to.
If it was my children in danger or my girlfriend in danger, I'd
It's like
go
that
out
thing
swinging.
on the
Do you know what I
fucking,
mean?
you know, like
But-
you see the videos in America where it's like fights, like some guy shouting at a woman on the subway, and they're like, all these guys did nothing. And you're like, yeah, because if he sparks that guy out and the guy falls
Yeah.
and cracks his head, he gets a murder charge. Like,
No, well, that's it, yeah. Exactly. Or you get stabbed and dies. Do you know what I mean? Don't get us wrong. I understand there's bravery in what you do, but at the same time, like, I don't want to die. I mean, I do, but I don't want it to be in front of me kids. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was like, well, why did you tell them? She's like, well, you're bigger than all of them. I was like, yeah, I might be, and I was, because they were maybe 17 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I was like, one of them could have had a knife. I could have got stabbed and died. And she was like, oh, I didn't see it like that. I was like, well, because when we were kids,
Have you seen that video?
nobody stabbed anyone.
Yeah.
Like, they
That
just
is
had a
true.
scrap and it was
That
done.
is true. Like,
Now everyone's
knife
getting
crime
stabbed.
was so fucking rare, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you see that video of the guy in Germany, I think it was, stabbing all those people?
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, I think
He stabbed the
that-
cop in the neck.
Yeah, so I think that's kind
Yeah.
of proof, because that cop was like a fucking big, trained fucking police officer, and that shows you how wild a fight is, where like he was just open to being casually fucking stabbed in the back of the fucking neck,
Yeah.
by a guy who wasn't trained. He was just a guy swinging a knife about. Like, he wasn't a big guy, he wasn't trained, he wasn't physically fit or anything.
He was just
He
a
was just a
lunatic,
lunatic
yeah.
swinging a knife about. And you think that's how fights are. Like, I've been in fights, and fights are like nothing like in movies. They're not even like the UFC. Like, the UFC is like pace
No,
and
it's
everything.
just
It's
swinging.
sloppy and it's swinging, and it's like,
Yeah.
I've seen guys like swing and like make the like either miss the guy, like because the guy moves, or they just swing too wide, and then they like smack walls full belt and things like that, or
Yeah.
hit posts and things like that, and they just tumble
'Cause
about.
it
It's
is,
like
it's-
it's sloppy and ugly and shit.
It's not, yeah. It's not like the movies. It's literally someone swinging to just do as much damage as they possibly
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
can, get this person on the floor so they can fucking walk off.
Yeah, you don't.
And it's
Like-
there's no choreography in real life.
Like, I love like the John
It's-
Wick films and stuff like that, but no fights in real life look like that.
No.
Like, every fight I've
No,
seen is like, they're actually like,
Wild
even though they're
swinging.
obviously fights that ends up in fucking killing and stuff like that, and stabbing
Yeah.
and stuff, but a lot of fights are actually look a lot more brutal than even what you see in UFC. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's just hilarious.
Crazy.
Well, just you fight these 17 fucking
You
lads.
tell them, because they're going to listen to me. Like, fair enough, I'm bigger than them, but do you know what I mean? Like, all these kids have clearly got an issue. Do you know what I mean? They're scrapping, headlocks, punching each other, pushing women out the way, and all sorts. Like, I was like, I'm not getting in the middle of that. Like, my kids are safe. Like, because the first thing I did was like, because my youngest, she was like, I'm scared. I was like, right, well, we're gonna get you away. Don't worry, we'll get you into Iceland, because we're heading in that way anyway. We didn't like hide in Iceland or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But we just went in there, and like, my girlfriend she doesn't like to see people obviously hurt, and it upset her. And I was like, I understand that you're upset, but if I tell them, they're not just going to, oh yeah, okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that
It's just
dad.
like, if I go over there, realistically, when someone's already in like that fight mode, like, they're either going to tell us to
They're
fuck
just
off,
going to fucking
They're either
fuck
gonna
off,
tell-
or they're going to try and hit us.
or I'm going to be involved in the fight, and now I've got
Yeah,
these
and
lads
then
fighting
I'm
us.
going to end up having
And
to
then it's like, because
beat
I'm
10 kids
big
up.
as well, like, because I'm big, like, probably like 2 or 3 of them will break away, and now I've got 3 lads on
Yeah.
us because I'm big. And it's like,
Exactly.
just because you're big doesn't mean that you won't fucking...
Nah. Well, that's it.
Like,
I mean,
and
it's
knockouts
not...
that's another thing. Like, knockouts don't happen that often in fights, because, you know, like how
Yeah.
you see videos online. That's because knockouts are interesting, because they're rare. So like, I've been
Yeah.
in a lot of fights, and most fights they get broken up. Like, I've
Yeah.
literally like had one time I was drunk, and I can't remember. I think I was talking to some girl, and a fucking boyfriend came over, but she hadn't told us she had a boyfriend. She was just talking to us and being very reciprocal in like the conversation, and she was like leaning into us and chatting, and
Yeah.
obviously I'm drunk going, yeah, you're fucking gorgeous and whatever. And like, we were cracking on or whatever, and then our boyfriend comes and he fucking shoved us, and the floor was like wet because it was like this like shithole in Newcastle called Sinners, and it was like the people, like, it was like you had plastic cups because they didn't want people glassing each other, so people would just
Yeah.
drop that plastic cup when there's like about this much fucking left in their drink. So every single night in that fucking club, within about half an hour, the floor became an ice rink. So he pushed
Yeah.
us, and I like fell down to one knee, proper smashed my knee on the fucking ground, like really hurt. But so I was basically kneeling while holding onto this guy's shirt, and his friend kicked us across the face, but my arms were like holding up this fucking onto this guy's shirt. So as he kicked me across the face, his leg like landed across my arms. And so then I stood up like with his fucking leg and like essentially threw him away. And then I headbutted the kid, and then I got punched by another kid, and then the security guard fucking came and put his fucking arm around my neck and took me outside. And like in the like somehow in the fight, my t-shirt got ripped and my tit was hanging out.
Yeah.
And obviously at no point did I plan for a fight. I just rolled with the punches, so to speak. But it was like I got like kicked and fucking punched twice or some shit, and the other kid got nutted and fucking like thrown to the floor. We're all just stood outside after being thrown out, like, oh well.
That's our night ruined.
That's our night ruined. And just like, I just was like, obviously my tits out, so what can I do? So I just went home, you know what I mean? I was just like, well, I have to give these women a thing. But like that's like obviously just one instance, but like that's what fights are like. It's like uncoordinated, sloppy, and people don't really get fucking knocked out anywhere near as much as you think. Like I've seen thousands of fights. It's almost like people just get punched in the face. Like I've been punched in the face loads. That's why I look like this.
Yeah.
Like
it fucking hurts.
And it hurts, but like you don't really get like, I'm not saying like it's impossible to be knocked out or whatever, like, but it's just like most fights just don't last that long, and most people aren't coordinated enough to land that many fucking face shots anyway.
Well, that's it.
And it's just like, you know what I mean? So this idea like, well, oh, you go and help, and you're like, what? Just have this massive brawl where like basically nothing will be resolved. And we just get hurt for nothing, and then like my kids are being more upset because they're seeing me getting punched or kicked by fucking blokes.
I mean, in her defense, she did think that it would, because I said something, because obviously they're young kids, and I mean I've got kids myself, and she's seen me obviously tell my kids rein it fucking in.
Yeah.
In her defense, she was like, well, I just thought they'd listen to you. I didn't expect you to go and chin them. Do you know what I mean? And I explained, like, they could have had a knife, or it could have ended up me getting. She was like, oh yeah, I understand. It's just in that moment, I was like, I saw people getting hurt, and I was like, who's big enough to stop them? You tell them, kind of thing. But fuck yeah, I was like, no. I was like, let's get into Iceland, do our shopping.
It's weird because it's that thing of though. I think if you weren't with your kids, I don't think you'd have jumped in when you weren't with your kids. But I think you'd be more inclined to give a fuck. Like, say, you know, like when someone's getting harassed on a fucking bus or whatever. I think you'd be more inclined on your own than you would with your kids, because you would never put your kids in danger. No, so you would never bring the attention to you and your kids, because your job's to protect your fucking kids. So like in that situation, you're always just going to be quiet. But like, and I would be the same. You know what I mean? Like if I was with me lass, I would be like, I'm not going to run my mouth, because the last thing I need is like, you know, someone hitting me lass or some shit. Yeah. But like, obviously, if you're on your own, it's different. But even still, like, now the culture's fucking changed. I think 10 years ago, in me going out days, I would have probably white knighted on a fucking train if like a group of chavs were like, you know, like fucking shouting at some lass, or like fucking shoving some lass on the train or something. I probably would have. Now, I actually don't think I would.
Yeah, because you could end up fucking dead. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was different. When we were kids, we'd have a fight, and then that was it. It was over and done with. Do you know what I mean? You got your fucking lamp knocked out, or whatever you want to say, like, whatever I said as a kid. Like, and then the next day you went to school and like, oh, I knocked him out. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, there was a kid, it was like that thing of where if they said something about your ma, you had to fight. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was for us. Like, for me anyway. Like, somebody said something about me mom, and it was like, well, I have to go and fight that person, whether I win or lose. Do you know what I mean? And that's what happened. Yeah. But now it's just like, oh, you've got a different postcode to me. I'm going to stab you.
Because it was your dad who said it, so you had to fight your dad for your mum.
Oh, I had to fight me dad, do you know what I mean? I had to knock me dad out, and I was 8 and that.
It's like, oh, my dad could chin your dad. I chinned my dad.
I chinned my own dad. I knocked him clean out. But yeah, I mean, fuck that. I was like, nope, let's get in here. Yeah. See you later. I'm not dying for a bunch of fucking no hope losers.
Yeah. This is why I don't go shopping in public. Not because of fights necessarily particularly happening, but it's just like people are just. I don't want to be around people ever, really. No, you know what I mean?
Definitely
only
not.
ever. And that's why I'll always go fucking get me food from Go Puff or whatever.
Yeah, Go Puff the stuff.
And you know, I think it's just time for you to say your fucking catchphrase, really.
Right. It's not a catchphrase, it's a way of life, man. Don't shoot kids unless they shoot you first, then you can shoot the fuck out.
Unless they're outside of Iceland fighting.
Unless they're having a brawl. And then you can mow the bitches down.